What up, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video with me, your hostess with the mostest, Xavier, Spade, whatever. So today we're going to be getting into what I think is a complete guide to books that you should be getting, whether you're beginner or advanced. And I'm going to be showing you some of mine that I think of, and maybe you can go off and find your own. So without further ado, let's get into the complete guide of books that Xavier thinks you should get right now.
Come here, yeah, these guys are...
Let's just go. Alright, so I broke this up into different categories, and in the description you'll see the times for the categories, so you can skip to it if you want to look at a few books or whatever you might want to do about that, with that, about that, whatever. So I figured the first thing we'd start with are books that I think you should start with. So if you're picking up Magic for the first time, these are some books that I think you should search out and take a look at to get you kind of wet into the game of Magic books, which in all honesty can be very difficult because some of them aren't written very well, especially a lot of the older books. The first one that we're going to look at is Royal Road to Card Magic. Now, I have two different versions of that book. They're both pretty much the same book, but they cover a lot of things that'll take you from beginner to advanced card magic-ish. You know, some of these techniques are outdated, some of the routines are outdated, but I think it's a good, solid place to start your journey in Magic, Royal Road to Card Magic. I actually think it's written better than some of the other books out there that we're going to be talking about. You should check these out. They're not super expensive, and they're all over the place. They're easy to find, constantly in print. So Royal Road to Card Magic, I think, is a good one. Next, so the next one is Expert at the Card Table. Now, I have Ryan Edwards' black version here, but it's the regular book. And I also have the Conjuring Arts Research Center indestructible pocket version of the book. This one you can put in water in case you want to learn magic in the tub, which I think some of you should be washing up in this day and age. This book is known as like the Bible of card magic. The problem with this book is that it's a very difficult read. It's very hard to stick with and really read into, and some of the routines in here are pretty dumb. This, I think, if you're gonna get into Magic at all, at least get a copy and look through it. You don't have to necessarily memorize it. Why not, right? Especially if it's this small, you can just keep it in your pocket. So Expert at the Card Table by S.W. 𝗦𝗧𝗨𝗙𝗙 is another one of those beginner books. So another book that I think you should get if you're starting out is a Buckley book, an Arthur Buckley book called Card Control. And this goes into a lot of different like cheating techniques and peaks and steals and color changes. Like, it's got a whole bunch of things in here that honestly, I think this book is overlooked a lot of times. I think this is actually a really good book. It's written very easy to understand. It's got some very clear pictures as to what to do. And I think if you're going to break into different types of card controlling and stuff like that, this is a good book to have and just to look at. There is an advanced one that I'm going to be showing you a little bit later. If you're starting out, you should have this book, I think, if you're going to be a legit card worker. And it's not very expensive. It's a Dover book. It should be pretty cheap. I think it's Dover anyway. Yeah, Dover. So check it out. Card Control by Arthur Buckley. This book is more if you want to do coin magic. Of course, it's the Bobo Modern Coin Magic book. It's not so modern anymore, and a lot of the stuff in here really doesn't work today. Like, they talk about cuffing in here and things with, I don't know, just silks if you're into silks, and how to load somebody's jacket pocket. If you're in that kind of environment, that could be cool, but I think for a lot of you guys out there that aren't really doing shows, especially during all this, some of this stuff wouldn't work for all of you. But it's still like the Bible of coin magic. If Expert at the Card Table is the Bible of cards, this is the Bible of coins, and you should check this out. But I think if you really want a better book, David Roth's book, Coin Magic, I think is much, much better and more complete. I believe it's written by Richard Kaufman. I don't have the book on me, but it is a great book. And I think both of those, including this, are something you should be adding to your collection. Because you should, because I said so. So do it. Don't question me. It's my show. Don't do that. All right, so this next section of books is more about performing theory, performing principles, things like that. And if you want to get into that type of market, that type of world, that type of magic, I think these books will help you a lot. They're written by some amazing people who know a lot about it and who are very respectable in the industry and in the professional world. The first book is Maximum Entertainment by 𝗏𝐻𝐕𝐈𝐎𝐿. Now, this is the second book. This was just re-released. 𝗏𝐻𝐕𝐈𝐿 is an awesome dude, and if you don't know, 𝗏𝐻𝐕𝐈𝐿 was one of the foremost corporate, I believe, and college workers not too long ago, actually. He's an extremely nice guy. He's super smart, and this book is actually very good. And if you talk to a lot of performers now that have read this book, they will quote different things from the book off the top of their head because they've taken so much from this book. So I think this is a great book if you want to get into working and performing and doing that kind of stuff in a market that is more corporate, more commercial than just like doing pickup kids parties or that gig at that restaurant. I think this book is great for that, but it's also good for that. So there you go. Maximum Entertainment, one of those great books that you should check out. The next book I don't have on me because actually I love the book so much, I actually let friends of mine hold it that don't know about the book, and it's Tangled Web by Eric Mead. This book, I love it. In fact, I think I'm gonna buy another copy just to let that copy roam around. You should check out that book by Eric Mead, Tangled Web. Look it up. I'm planning to put links in the description for everything, so you can do that as well. Also, I might as well tell you now, I started a new YouTube channel because I enjoy gaming and streaming, so I'm going to be doing all my gaming and streaming on that channel. Please check out my new YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. It's a lot of fun. We hang out, and I'm going to be doing some community things there and some giveaways and such. So please come check out the channel, and let's get back to this. What I've noticed in magic is that a lot of magicians want to end up emceeing shows, and a lot of magicians just don't know how to MC a show. And there isn't really much written about how to MC a show, especially for a magician. So there was a guy named Terry Seabrook who passed away not too long ago, and he actually wrote this book right here. This book is called Beyond Compare, and it's a pocket guide to being an MC. And let me tell you something, it covers everything. What happens if there's a power outage, how you should manage your team, the people who are going to be performing, how to intro them, what you should be doing while you're introing them. All of that is literally covered in this book, and it's not a big book at all, and it's a very light read, a very easy to digest read, and I think you can get a lot out of this, especially if you want to start emceeing shows. So check out this book, Terry Seabrook's Beyond Compare. This is actually the front, this is actually the back. And I think there's a reason why this is on the back, and if you read the book and understand it, I think you'll see why, which I think is awesome. But he looked like a hell of a guy. It looks like he was a lot of fun to be around. I can't focus on him. Look at that face. Man, I wish I could have met him. But anyway, so there you go, Beyond Compare. Check that out, and let's head to the next section right now. Alright, so I know what you're saying. X, all these books are dope, but I just want to learn how to do some dope card moves, man. I don't even want to do routines. I just want to do some dope, hard card moves. I got you, fam. Check this out. So, I think the first one you should look at is another Dover book. This is by 𝗏𝐻𝐕𝐈𝐿, but it's a Dover book. Dover's the publisher. So, Card Manipulations by 𝗏𝐻𝐕𝐿, and this goes into more manipulation type stuff, moves, fancy color changes, things like that. And I think it's a good way to break into moves like that, as well as card control. If you want to go deeper than that and harder than that, I got you, fam. So this is another card control series right here. This is by Jerry Andrus. Now, Jerry Andrus was a hardcore move monkey, and this thing comes in two parts. And the reason why it comes in two parts is because one part is all the instructions, and the next part is all the pictures that are related to the instructions, because some of the moves are similar, so instead of printing them over and over, you just go to that section. I learned some really intricate moves from this stuff. This stuff covers everything from table work, sleeving, in the hand shifts, and single card shifts, and very open shifts. Like, this is a move monkey's dream right here. If you really want to learn some hard stuff, I don't think I've seen anybody do 1/3 of what's in this book. So if you want to get into the hard stuff, check that out. Jerry Andrus Card Control Series. If it's still in print, grab it. Because even if you don't use it now, you'll be able to look at it one day and go, wow, I should have looked at this before. Now, I know for a fact this one is out of print. I don't know if you can get a PDF of it, but this book right here also has a lot of difficult, intricate, like fun moves to play around with. If an Octopus Could Palm by Dan and Dave. Ricky Smith, my homeboy, did all of the artwork for the book. So there's some nice, cute drawings in there. Not the hands so much, but just like the drawings of the octopus and stuff. But this thing has some weird palming techniques and ways to move cards around the deck secretly or openly. and it's fun to do. And I've actually used some of these moves in here that were told that couldn't be done. I do them all the time. One of them is like undertow and treading that I use a lot is from this book right here. So if you've seen Savant, I teach undertow that is from this book. They gave me permission to. I referenced the book and the page number. This is the book. It's a lot of fun if you just like hard moves. So if you're a move monkey, you should be checking that out. If you want to get into hard coin moves, I think you should be looking at guys like 𝐗𝐒𝐈𝐿 Harbottle. I know on our website, Lost Art Magic, he has a routine on there called Misbehavin', and it's very difficult. But 𝐗𝐒𝐈𝐿 Harbottle is one of those guys that you want to look up if you want to see really hard coin moves. Also, if there's a coin move that a lot of people don't use too much, and this guy 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗅 from France actually came up with a whole DVD on how to use backclip. And some of the stuff in here is really beautiful. And it can be very difficult. So I think if you want to get into that, look up 𝐗𝐒𝐈𝐿 Harbottle, grab yourself this DVD right here, have some knuckle busting fun. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, look up 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 also. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has a lot of really intricate stuff that I don't see anybody do. And probably because he's the only one that can do it. So check it out if you want to challenge yourself. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Lawrence Gordon. Go do your coin work, and now let's go to the next section right now. Now you've learned some moves, you learned some things, and you want to start doing some routines and performing with the stuff you learned from those other books. But here's the thing, if you're just focusing on moves, you haven't learned how to focus on your performance. So how do you do that? Steve Beam's got you covered, man. His books, Semi-Automatic Card Tricks, are amazing. They have some routines in here that, with minimal setup, you can do amazing miracles, and they literally go one after another. I've met Steve a few times. He's a really funny guy. And he did a lecture at a convention in Buffalo that I usually go to called the Buffalo 52 Gathering. And he literally did routines one after another from his books without stopping from one setup. And it was amazing to watch. And his books are just incredible. They have some amazing magic in here. They're very easy to do, which will allow you to focus on your performance if that's what you want to do. This is a good way to do it. He also has a harder series, which is more routines that are about more things than just cards, and that's right here in Trapdoor, also by Steve Beam. But I think this book series will go better with another book series that I'm going to be talking about later on. So for now, Semi-Automatic Card Tricks, Steve Beam. Check it out. Go learn some dope stuff. Go do it. Alright, so you've learned how to perform a little bit. You've learned some sleight of hand. Now you want to start finding better routines and better ideas and things that aren't in a lot of the other books. I got you. So I think one of the first ones, and you want to know something? I don't know why this book isn't a classic yet. This is a great book. It's Paper Engine by Aaron Fisher. And this book was amazing when I first got it. It's still amazing to this day. He's got some awesome things in here. You need to pick up Paper Engine. If you don't use something from here, you're crazy. This is such a great book. Paper Engine, check it out. It'll help step up your game. Card Fictions by Pitt Hartling. This book literally changed the game. David Blaine did a couple of, actually one trick from this book with Ellen, and a lot of people do that one trick from there, but he has some amazing routines in here you really need to check out. This book, when I first saw it years ago, I was like, man, this is so cool. It's got a 7 of spades up. It's just a beautiful book, and some really beautiful routines that require some really heavy thought, heavy practice, heavy routining. The things you're doing in there, sometimes you're doing calculations, sometimes you have to watch your pharaohs. This thing is amazing, and you need to check out Card Fictions by Pitt Hartling. So a lot of people want to know, what's that weird one-handed cut you do? Well, I learned it from this book right here. This is Paul Curry's Worlds Beyond. He has some really cool moves in here and great routines that you should look at. Some switches on the table and in the hand, and one-handed cuts and bottom palming, all that stuff in here. I later found out that I think it was an 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 move that one-handed cut originally came from, but I learned it from here. This is a great book. You should check it out. Some great stuff in here. Paul Curry, Worlds Beyond. The Cardition by Ed Marlowe. This, if you know about Marlowe's work, it's Marlowe. What else do you say? Get the Cardition. And along with that, we have Dai Verdon's Revelation book. I got this book mostly because it has a lot of the handwritten stuff that was written and typed up between him and other magicians, and some really cool pictures of some of the magicians of the past and stuff. And it's beautifully, beautifully, beautifully done. I wish a lot more books took this much time and effort to commemorate somebody. This is really beautiful. And it covers a lot of the stuff, and it updates some of the notes, some of the mistakes. So check that out, as well as the Kardashian. These two are lifetime rivals. Are you Team Vernon or Team Marlowe? That's what I want to know. I have a book here, okay? It's called Focus, and the guy who wrote the book is Phil Goldstein. Now, if you don't know who Phil Goldstein is, that's him right there. He also goes by Max Maven. And this is some of his card work. And let me tell you something. The card work in here is really, really dope. Now, Max Maven is known as Mentalist, and this is card magic, but it's great. He's got some really great things in here. In fact, a bunch of years ago, he released, I think, one of the effects from this book called Shinkansen. It was such a great, I used to carry that thing all the time and fry people with it. Some great stuff in there, some great mystery card plots and great routines all around. He's such a great thinker. You should check this out also. Step up your game, boys. 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗠 is a great friend of mine. I love the guy, and he's such a smart man. He's from Spain. I think he's from Toledo, Spain. And man, his stuff is just so good. And this book right here, a book in English by 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗠, there's even a trick built into the cover that you can do if you want to fool people who look at it. But this book has a lot of stuff in here, man. They talk about different principles, things that you may not have heard of, like Gilbreth and all these other things. He's a technical guy. He's also a method guy. He uses some stack work that he talks about, which we're going to get into next. This is a great book to own, some great routines, and some of the stuff from this book people have been using in their shows professionally, like Penn and Teller and some other people from this book. On Lost Art, we have two things that are from this book, actually. We released them as separate items, but they originate from this book. One of them is 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗠, which is his separation. The other one is Maverick. So if you go to Lost Art and you want to learn some stuff by 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗠 that's not in the book, you can learn it there. Maverick and 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗠, both from this book. This book is amazing, though. His weighing card routine, when he first showed me, man, it floored me so hard. Amazing, amazing guy. Look at that face. How can you not love that face? Look at that beauty. If you guys don't know, I've talked about this book a few times in different videos, and the reason why is this series is so good. It's called 𝗙𝗛𝗙 from a shuffled deck in use, 𝗙𝗙. And he has two of them, 1 and 2. And these are routines that you can literally pick up a deck of cards and do the magic from a shuffle deck while it's in use without needing to set too much stuff up, or how to set it up in front of them. These two books are amazing. And if you don't know Paul Cummins, he's a friend of mine. He's from Florida. He's a bartender, and he literally does this stuff all the time while he's working. This guy knows what he's talking about. He's been doing it for years, and what a beautiful human being he is. Please go support this. Go buy this book from him. That's the only place you're going to get it. It's worth it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Go buy it. I have a book here. This book is talking about using a gimmick. And there aren't too many things that I've seen on using that gimmick. But this book, I think, should be like the Bible of that. It's called A New Angle by Ryan Plunkett and Michael Feldman, both good friends of mine. And this book is amazing. I actually did a video with Ryan where he shows some of the routines that are in this book right here. You should be going to get this book if you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you should get the book and find out what I'm talking about, because the routines are so well thought out. The handling is so well thought out. Everything about using that gimmick is unlike anything that I've ever seen from people using that gimmick. And it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful magic, beautiful routines, beautiful visuals. A New Angle by Ryan Plunkett and Michael Feldman. Go check it out. Go get it right now. Definitely on my top 10 list. You may have heard of something called torn and restored card, where somebody tears a card up and puts it back together. The first version I learned was from this book right here, Drawing Room Deceptions by 𝐗𝐈𝗎𝗠. Obviously, you can see I have my little tabs there from when I take notes. But I used to live for this book. He had some of his stuff that you've seen on TV, like Waving the Aces, and his Reparation or Reformation, which is his version of torn and restored card piece by piece. Unbelievably difficult, unbelievably beautiful, and the guy is a beast. And the routines in here and the ideas in here are something that you should really think about. Also, there's a hidden trick in here. So if you find it, you've done your homework. But this is a great book to own, to look at, to practice, to just get the book. Drawing Room Deceptions by 𝗏𝗏𝗎𝗏. This is a piece of art right here. Look at the beauty. Even this, it's like marble. Get the book. There was a series written by Harry Lorraine called Apocalypse, and it was like this monthly circular thing. and people would donate tricks all the time to it, and he would compile them and make these monthly letters. He started to put them all together into a giant book called the Apocalypse series, right here, Apocalypse. Now, I believe there's 7 or 8 of these books like this in different colors with everything from that series. It is thousands upon thousands of tricks and moves and ideas and routines. Some of them are really good, some of them are really bad, some of them make no sense, some of them are just fun. Really interesting collection of magic over the decades that this was being printed, and it's so cool that they put it out in one big book series, and you can get all 7 or 8 of them. Like this series, this is one of my favorites. This is volumes 16 through 20. So this is, 1993. So I think it went through the 80s. It's the 70s, 80s, and 90s, because this is 97 where it ends. It is really, really amazing to see some of this stuff. And some of the names in here will surprise you. You'll think that they've never done anything of merit, but they've been around. They've been around. So check out Apocalypse. Also, with that, something very similar-ish was Trapdoor, which I talked about before, by Steve Beam. And this has that same type of thing where it's just all accumulation of all these ideas and tricks from this newsletter. This one is from 1984 to 1988, so check that out. Also, Trapdoor and Apocalypse, go get them. Check it out. You can't go to the library and get them. I don't think they have them. Harbottle will kill them. And the last book I'm going to talk about in this series, there are many, many more, but this is just the last one I'm going to talk about here, so you can kind of get an idea of what I like and what I'm looking at, is this book right here. This beauty. This book is so... This book is Scott Robinson's Pure Imagination. Scott Robinson is a friend of mine from North Carolina. Scott is a great guy, and he's a great magician. His thinking is so smart, and his routines are so beautiful. And the care, look at this book. This thing is beautiful, man. He's got coins and cards and different things in here that you could play with, that you can learn, that you could do. Some of them very easy, some of it kind of difficult, but that's Scott. Scott is a performer who performs and goes for the effect that he wants. You need to check out this book. It is brand new. Scott was nice enough to sign it for me, like some of the other books I have are signed, but I want to show you this one. Beautiful routines in there, and I think those books will help step up your game until you're ready to learn something new, which we're going to talk about right now. All right, so you're saying to yourself, hey X, what if I want to do magic that's a little bit more hands-off, magic that, I can just have with me and it's set up and it's ready to go with cards and stuff? Well, then you're talking about a Mem Deck, okay? And there are some good books out there with Mem Deck. There are some older books out there with Mem Deck that I don't know about. Mem Deck's been around forever. There's many different stacks. The stack that I think most people know is by 𝗏𝗧𝗨𝗙𝗙 called 𝗏𝗧𝗨𝗏𝗪. That one, I believe, is like the who's who of Mem Decks. Everybody knows it. There's some great routines in here. This Mem Deck, his Mem Deck is called 𝗏𝗏𝗨𝗏𝗪. He explains why in the book. There are many other Mem Decks like Stay Stack, Cy Stebbins, and we're going to talk about a few of them right now. This is like the Bible, I guess, of Mem Deck that people refer to. 𝗏𝗏𝗨𝗏𝗪 by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗪. You should just need to own it. Another person that I think is kind of overlooked in the New Age group of magicians when it comes to Mem Deck is Simon Aronson. Simon Aronson wrote a lot of books, and he has lots of different principles that allow you to do some really amazing miracles. And this book, Bound to Please, is a compilation of different, what he thinks are the best things from each of those books. So a stack to remember is his work on the Aronson stack, and then Shuffleboard. People have heard of Shuffleboard. He has a whole book on it. This is some of his earlier stuff, and I like this book a lot. So if you want to break into Simon Aronson, I think this is a good book to start with, and you can start your journey with his Mem Deck stuff and his ideas and his principles. Okay, so I mentioned this before, 𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and he was telling me about this book years ago, and he was like, I guarantee you, I've done this, I've literally taught people in my lecture to memorize my stack in 30 minutes during the lecture. And I believe him, because 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, he doesn't need to lie. Look at that face. Is that the face of a liar? Is that the face of a liar right there? I don't think so. This book is his work on his stack deck, his routines that he uses with it, and he's a lot of fun. He's a fun read. So if you want something a little bit lighter but still has super hard-hitting magic, this book right here. Memorandum, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, check it out. And this is the last book I'm going to talk about with Mem Deck stuff. This is another Pitt Hartling book, In Order to Amaze. This book, this is like hardcore stuff, man. This is hardcore stuff, and just get it. It's even just for the book. Look how pretty it is, dude. That is such a beautiful, clean, slick book. Pitt Hartling's In Order to Amaze, and you put it together with card fictions. Actually, are they the same size? Ah, they are the same size. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. Books decades apart, and they're still perfect together. So go check out those books. I think those books will really get you into Mem Deck. They'll really break you into the world. You'll have a lot of fun once you understand the Mem Deck and how to work with it a little bit better. And if you want to see people work with Mem Deck that I know, you should check out Ossie Wind and Doug McKenzie. They have some beautiful, beautiful work with Mem Deck stuff. So check them out also. All right, so the last book I'm going to talk about is this one right here, The Discovery of Witchcraft. And I'm throwing this in here because I think it's really amazing to watch or to see how different magic was viewed and how it was talked about then, before there was even a magic market really, and today. And to read about what was complained about with magic versus what it is, what's complained about today. So it's one of those things that it's not going to really teach you any magic, but it is interesting to see how things were at one time and how they talked about it. So that's the video. I'm pretty sure it's going to be kind of a long one. If you want anything that you saw in this video, please click on the links below. A lot of them are direct from the people who wrote the book, if I could find those links, or wherever they were directly published. So go check out directly where those books are, and you can buy them today. Also, I said this earlier, but I started a new YouTube channel for me to stream. I stream there pretty regularly. It's going to be where all my streams live. I'm done with Twitch, so you can click on the link below and it will bring you right to the channel to check out what's going on. We usually stream later on in the evening, so like after dinner and stuff like that, so people could just come hang out. You can ask me whatever you want. We're going to be doing giveaways and all that fun stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and I'll see you guys in the next video. A peace out.